I'm Felina.
And I'm Summer.
And you are listening to Broken Broken.
Because we're both.
The podcast about living your best life by getting real.
Hey, broken people. I don't know if you noticed, the intro was different today. We have a new co-host. Her name is Felina, and she's really amazing. I met her in law school, so there's my deep, dark secret a lot of you don't know. I went to law school, and that's where I met Felina, and she's amazing. She's an artist, so why don't you just start with telling us what you want people to know about you first?
Okay. Well, there's a lot of things that I do. I guess maybe they define me or maybe they don't, but my name's Felina Rivera. I have a 9-year-old daughter.
Oh my God, she's 9 already.
Yeah, I have a 9-year-old daughter. She was 6 months whenever I started law school, and let's see, she's the light of my life. She's a little sassy. I am
she gets that from her mama.
Yeah, she does. I'm an attorney, obviously, as well. Also my deep dark secret. I live 2 lives, attorney by day, a musician by night, mostly. I'm a singer-songwriter. I sing for a band called Felina and the Feels. I've been a solo singer-songwriter for a long time. Gave it up for a while and then started again about 4 years ago after my mom passed away. And met my bandmates about a year ago, so we've been doing that. And now I'm doing this. I've been in a...
why not?
Yeah, because why not? It's not like I ever sleep anyway, right. So I might as well fill that non-sleeping time with more creative projects.
That's right. And Felina is an angel. I just need everybody to know that. Because the reason I love her so much, I had my youngest baby a 2L year in law school, which, in case anyone doesn't know, is hell. And I was desperate for a babysitter, and she barely knew me. But I was desperate for a babysitter because I couldn't miss class for whatever reason. I don't know if there was an exam or something that day. So she watched my baby so I could go to class.
Is it bad that I don't even remember that?
No, it's not. Because I know it was not as traumatic in your life as it was to me. But I was sitting there crying when I posted that on Facebook because I could not find anybody to watch him and I had to go, and you volunteered.
Well, that was why I started that organization in law school, Parents Attending Law School.
Right,
PALS.
I remember that.
Yeah, because there was like 30 of us that had kids,
mm-hmm.
and everybody was like, reliving high school. It seemed like,
oh my God.
People were like, we had lockers and bells and prom, and everybody binge drinked, and yes. And so I was like, I can't do this. I need, and none of the other parents were like, they needed a respite as well and some support.
Oh,
so
yes.
It was nice to pair up with all the other parents.
It really was.
Yeah.
It helped a lot. I don't know that I would have got through it without it.
Yeah.
It was pretty rough.
I think I have PTSD about law school. I just kind of blocked it out.
Yes, there's a lot I don't remember, but I do remember that. I also remember breastfeeding my baby in class. We had one of those international Indigenous Peoples Law or whatever, so we're on like the closed circuit television with classes in like 4 other countries around the globe, and I'm like nursing my baby, and nobody in any of those countries thought anything about it.
Right.
But the people in our classroom are like, what?
Like, oh my God.
Kids gotta eat, okay? Just leave me alone.
Deal with it. We're trying to do something with our lives here.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So tell me about your background. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Guyman, Oklahoma, small town.
Google it, people. No one knows where that is.
A small town in the panhandle of Oklahoma. It's called no man's land for a reason. There is nothing out there. There is a pig farm out there.
Oh, a pig farm.
And my dad immigrated there. He's from San Luis Potosí, Mexico. And
what part of Mexico is that in?
It's like southeast central.
Okay.
If you're looking at the whole country of Mexico, sort of the east central side. But he immigrated here in the 70s with his three of his brothers. And I don't, the story that they all tell, none of it matches up.
All my family stories were like that.
Yeah,
too,
none of the brothers have the same version of how they came to the U.S.
Okay.
Needless to say, it wasn't legal.
Right.
My dad's a citizen now,
okay.
And he's like the proudest American I know.
Really?
I was in 2nd grade whenever he went to, or third grade, and he got sworn in as a citizen in Dallas, and he's so proud of that, and he's worked in the oil field most of his life since he came here, and he farmed which was what a lot of immigrants
Right.
did. And the family that he was farming their land on, they were like, oh, we're going to get in trouble with child services. This kid is like small. Like my dad was small for his age. He was also like 14.
Okay.
And so they kind of took him in and put him in school. And when he got found out, kind of put him in hiding and kind of did some shady things to help him eventually get legal status. I mean, he had a fake marriage, I found out when I was 18. I didn't even know. She was like the lady at my candy store when I was in elementary school. Didn't know my whole childhood why this lady was so nice to me all the time. Found out when I was 18. Oh, because she had a fake marriage with my dad so that maybe he could be legally in the United States. Yeah. But I mean, when he married my mom, which was for true love, he actually got legal status and eventually became a citizen. But yeah, so I grew up in Guyman with my dad. My parents got divorced when I was 4, and my dad got custody, which was a weird deal. It was a small town court in Chickasha, and the judge decided that a neighbor testified that my dad was responsible for my religious upbringing, and so that the judge thought that my dad needed to have custody. My dad, a single Mexican man who was not a citizen of this state, should have custody of me over my mom, because she was in nursing school and wasn't around a lot. Yeah.
Because it's the Bible Belt.
Because it's the fucking Bible Belt.
Which I tend to be pretty hard on.
Yeah, we're the buckle of the Bible Belt. And I mean, and I'm also not Christian. I was raised Lutheran growing up, but no more. Not into organized religion.
Yeah,
so,
I was
not my
a
thing.
preacher's kid.
Oh, wow.
So I have a very, shall we say, strained relationship with organized religion.
Yes. I find a lot of people around here have a strange relationship with religion, especially those of us who went to college and discovered psychedelics and
they'll change your life.
Saw reality, who saw The Matrix. They're like, oh, it's. Now I see. Now I see. Happiness is a choice, and there is no God who's going to damn me to imaginary hell. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm at the top of everybody's prayer list. My family, although they are happy now that I'm finally, because I was up until last year, I was in a poly relationship for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was second wife, and they were very opposed to this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they liked her, the first wife. They loved her, but they were still very opposed to this. So now they're at least glad I don't have that anymore. In fact, my dad earlier this year asked me, he's like, so do you have a man? I'm like, oh, there's always somebody in some capacity. Was my answer, right? I'm like, there's always somebody in some form. And he's like, is he married? Like, no. Well, I already like him better than the last one. I'm like, okay, Dad.
Yeah, I mean, I think my dads really want their little girls to have another man to take care of them. It's so archaic.
Well, he's not so much that way. We were taught to take care of ourselves, but
good.
He still likes the. Even though he's not preaching anymore. He's back in church again. I'm telling you, my parents were, and I take back, by the way, some of the nice things I said at episode 6 about my family. There have been some recent developments. I am not very happy with them right now. And they had become a lot more tolerable, compassionate, nice people, but in the last year-ish they've started going back to church, to an evangelical church, and it's it's bad again, and I'm just like, no, I can't do this. So
I don't understand the brain and how it seems to be that some people are just so desperate to have some ideology to cling to define how they're supposed to live their lives for them. I don't understand it.
I keep threatening to go back to study psychology and groupthink. Like, well, that would be my dissertation, would be on groupthink. And if I didn't have all these kids to take care of, I probably would. But it's kind of baffling. Like, on the one hand, I get it clinically, but on the other, it's maddening that.
And I mean, I think I've always been a questioner. I mean, I almost didn't get confirmed in the Lutheran church.
Oh, that's right. That's that whole process.
We went, in 8th grade, you're confirmed. You go, it's like, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years. But upon the eve of my confirmation, my pastor or minister told my mom, I don't know if she's ready because she asks too many questions.
How dare you ask
I couldn't take
Felina.
the explanation of just have faith. Like, that just didn't do it for me.
It just is, don't you know?
Yeah, like, it didn't do it for me. I always had so many questions. But I got confirmed, and that, I guess, meant something to me at the time. But I remember being 16 or somewhere around there and reading a book called The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield, and it talked about auras and energy and coincidences and I was like, oh, and it really, in hindsight, it's like my first philosophy book, but it opened my eyes to a lot of things and made me realize that I wasn't alone in the way I thought about things and questioning things and thinking maybe there was something else, another way to be, another way to think. Yeah.
It's kind of liberating when you get to that point and you can break away from those expectations that you've been conditioned to.
Yeah. And unfortunately, my dad, he's an interesting fella himself. He's an immigrant. He's also a 3rd-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. And so he teaches jiu-jitsu. And in that regard, he was really into Eastern culture. Okay. And so I was exposed to that growing up. And my dad, you'd think he'd be like a typical Mexican Catholic, but he's not. We didn't go to the Catholic Church growing up. He didn't throw me a quinceañera. Like, I didn't, and I was kind of bummed about that.
I was going to say, you missed that big dress.
I kind of wanted to do that. I missed that.
I kind of want to do it now.
We'll have to talk about that. Maybe we can.
We can throw a good
we come up with some new theme, for being in your 30s. I don't know.
That's right.
But yeah, and then my mom, like, she's the reason I went to the Lutheran church. But she actually, her and I kind of evolved together, like as we grew together away from that way of thinking. And when she, by the time she passed away, she was agnostic and spiritual and very much an empath and knew there was more. There is definitely an energy about her and she was a cancer nurse, so she was like, oh wow, she was truly an angel. Like, she would take on her patient's pain and she really she
tough
saved
for an empath,
people.
Because you feel that.
Yeah, and she was ill herself, and so that eventually opioids and whatnot took their toll on her body, and she passed away way too young at 54. But I was fortunate when it came to my religious upbringing that I was pretty free to change my mind as I wanted. Good. I didn't really have anybody pushing me one way or another. And so I'm sure it would have been a lot different if I would have had a parent who really expected me to believe a certain way.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know how we got on this religious topic.
I don't know. It's what we do. We talk about all the uncomfortable things people tell you not to talk about.
Yes.
It's what Summer does. She pushes people to the uncomfortable topics.
Yeah, I'll tell you whatever you want to know.
Let's see, what else now? You're raising your daughter on your own?
I am. My ex-husband is
co-parenting.
Yeah,
right?
we co-parent. He's a pretty good guy. He and I, just aren't right for each other. I met him when I was pretty young, and he's extremely emotionally supportive, which was what I needed at a young age. I was 21 when we met. Okay. And, but, eventually I feel like I kind of outgrew that relationship. And, nothing wrong with that.
Which I think is what we're supposed to do, actually.
Yeah, I just grew in a different way, and he's, got a different life and just a different way he wants to live his life than I do. But we do a pretty good job of keeping Sophia first. Our divorce was super amicable. Oh, good. We split a 6-pack and wrote down who was going to get what. And...
My favorite kind. We do a lot of family law, and that's how I'm always like, okay.
Yeah.
Can we agree on something?
Yeah.
Let's not fight over extension cords. That was a real case.
Oh, my God.
Fighting over extension cords. I'm like, I'll buy you each a new one if y'all stop fighting.
For real. Yeah, no, well, and it also, we don't argue because the day that we went to the courthouse and finalized our divorce that morning, we sat before the judge and signed our papers and did all the things we needed to do. We went to the diner and had breakfast together. And then that evening, my mom passed away that same day.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the same day.
The exact same day.
Wow.
And my ex-husband is the one.
It was a rough day for you.
Yeah. My ex-husband's the one that told me. and he came to get me, and he was more of a husband and friend to me that day than he'd ever been, and just took care of me and was whatever I needed him to be. I mean, my mom was his mom too.
How long were you guys together?
10 years.
Okay, so
yeah, I mean, we had
too.
only been married for, well, I guess we were married for 7 total. We were together for 3 or 4 before. But I mean, he had moved out of our house about a year before our divorce finalized. And my mom was the one who helped furnish his new place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, she was just like that. I mean, she just would give anybody anything that they needed. And so when that happened, I mean, it was like he lost his mom too, because she was family too. I mean, we've been together for a decade. Yeah. So it's kind of like any animosity or anything that, couples tend to have after they divorce, like it all just kind of went away. There was
no room for that.
There was no room because we'd lost such a great soul in my mom. And so, we've just kind of gotten along ever since. We've had our tiffs. Like
everybody does.
I mean, his stripper ex-girlfriend was a point of contention for a while, but only because her influence on our daughter, just a little concerned about some of the people that were coming around, but not her profession itself.
Right.
Yes. Just
we are very supportive.
Yes, super supportive
workers.
Of that. Yes, it was just there were. Unfortunately, I think drugs and things tend to be in that scene, and so there were concerns. But other than that, we've had a pretty amicable relationship.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
So how did you become a singer-songwriter, Felina? This is something I didn't know about you during law school.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I mean, I've sang since I was a little kid. I was always wanting to sing. I always wanted to be the center of attention. I was dancing, and I mean,
worship me, people.
Worship me. I just always was a little performer.
Aww.
And I could sing from a really young age. I liked choir and all that, and as I got older, I'd sing the national anthem for like high school football games and stuff. And finally, my mom bought me a guitar when I was 17, I think. And one of my uncles knew how to play. My mom knew how to play a little bit, and everybody just kind of taught me a little bit here and there. When I went to college, I was odd and weird and didn't have a lot of friends and didn't understand that there was this whole arts crowd I could have joined up with.
Right.
I did. I mean, I guess I did speech and debate in high school, which was another, artistic outlet that kind of led me to the performance and law school. Yes. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of started writing songs. The first song I wrote when I was 18, and I used lyrics from a poem I had written when I was 16. I was always super freaking emotional and intense and dramatic.
The best of us are.
Yeah, so I had like tons of poetry and things, and finally, just figured out how to put some chords together. I have no musical theory background knowledge whatsoever. Wow. I just have an ear, and so I play by ear and write songs. And usually my best songs come out when I'm feeling super, super strongly emotionally about something. It doesn't matter what it is in particular. My, 2 best songs, in my opinion, one I wrote shortly after my mom passed away, and it came out just like within 45 minutes. It just, just came out of me. And same thing after a recent breakup, and it's an angry song, but it's a good one.
Those breakups can produce some angry songs,
it's a great one though. I'll play
it
for you sometime soon. You'll love the lyrics.
Oh, that'll be great.
But yeah, so I just kind of, it was funny, like my dad wasn't really into supporting my artistic side. My mom always was. My dad put an ad in the back of my yearbook. Congratulations to my future lawyer. Like, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no pressure.
That was the plan, huh?
Or anything. Yeah, and I wanted to make him happy, of course, but my mom was super supportive of my artistic side. And it seemed like every time I would stray away from music, it somehow would end up coming back to me. And I played a little bit when I was in my early 20s around Norman during undergrad, but got married and had a kid and all those things. And then went to law school, and after my mom passed away, it was what healed me. Like, I started playing again. I needed an outlet again. Like, the first thing I did was I went to her house and grabbed her Ovation guitar and amp, because I knew that was meant for me.
Right.
And I grabbed a big box of poetry and writing that I knew she had in her closet. and took it home and almost immediately started reading and writing, and that was how I spent time with her after she
Those
passed
things
away.
that mean the most.
Yeah, I got to know her again, and used a lot of the things that I read to write new material, and have been doing it ever since. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So anyway.
All right. So what else do you want to talk about, Felina? Got anything controversial or shocking? We're gonna make sure you're unelectable in the Bible Belt like me.
Oh Lord. I mean, right now, like, I am just dealing with being single again.
Right, it hasn't been long, has it?
No, I was recently dating a man who turned out to be a sociopath.
Those are fun.
Yeah, they're super fun in that way that isn't fun at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah, in that way that makes you question everything about yourself. And yeah, I mean, I had, after my mom's passing, worked really hard to build myself back up. And then I met this man who was also an attorney, who worked at the same firm as I did. And I initially did not like him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was off-putting in a weird way, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. I thought he was attractive, but there was just something about him that was off-putting. But eventually, he kind of grew on me, and we became friends. And he was always wanting to hang out with me and spend time with me. And
so he was continually pursuing.
Yeah, I mean,
like they tend to.
Yeah, and I didn't really realize it at the time. Like, I thought he just wanted to be my friend. But eventually, we got drunk and hooked up,
Right, like you do.
And he's super intense and comes across as very passionate and kind. And it's really all a facade. And it took so long to see the cracks in the facade, because he puts on a pretty good show. He's mastered that mask that he wears around, because he really does not like himself. I mean, he really doesn't like who he is. And when the facade cracks and the anger comes out, he's been abusive to past girlfriends, I found out. Slammed their heads against car windows,
nice.
Kicked dogs with his steel-toed boots.
Oh.
He can be really crazy.
Right.
And he tries to hide all that instead of deal with it. I don't think he's capable of dealing with it. I think there's something broken in his brain that he just can't. And I feel sorry for him, honestly. Right. But he's highly manipulative. And, throughout the 2 years of our relationship, he did a lot of emotionally abusive things to me that made me feel fucking terrible about myself. And he was masterful at turning around those things and making them my fault, making me feel like I was at fault for literally everything.
The gaslighting is real.
It is so real, and I had never had it done to me before, and I'm so trusting, and I loved him so much that I was willing to try and see everything the way that he did, just to try and make the relationship work.
Right.
Because he really presented himself as, like, on paper, he should be this great catch. He comes from this great family. He's an attorney. He's a musician also. We had all this stuff in common. But there's just, the whole time, I didn't trust him completely. And he would always accuse me of being paranoid. And I'm like, my gut was telling me.
You were feeling it.
I was feeling it. I could never fully trust him. I didn't feel comfortable around him completely. He caused me great anxiety all the time. So much so that it pushed me into therapy. I thought all of our relationship issues were my fault. And so I started going to therapy. I mean, at his recommendation, of course, because he had convinced me that everything was my fault. So I should really go to therapy to figure out what was wrong with me so that I could save our relationship. But it kind of backfired, because what happened was I dealt with my abandonment issues, which was why I was having a hard time walking away from him to begin with. And I kicked him to the curb. So,
good for you.
Yeah. And then I found out all sorts of crazy, like even more crazy shit after we broke up. And so... Really?
Isn't it interesting how you always find out the stuff that would have been helpful after the fact? And you're like, why did nobody tell me this before?
I didn't
that would have
helped. The motherfucker was a sociopath.
Right.
My therapist, when I told her we broke up, she's like, I'm not supposed to be happy about this, but I'm thrilled. He was a sociopath, right? And I was like, no, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, you have to figure these things out for yourself.
Because I have to help you figure it out.
Yeah.
Yes, that's kind of frustrating to me.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
But then you won't learn.
Well, and he, there were a lot of red flags along the way, like, anytime he would talk about a previous relationship, it was always the other person's fault entirely. He never spoke about anything that he had learned from his past relationships. It was always just his ex's fault.
Yes. Anytime they're like that, that means run.
And he would compare, like, he would do fucked up things, like, and I found out that he did this to previous girlfriends as well, because I, like, now I'm very good friends with his previous girlfriend of, like, 7 years.
How did that happen?
Oh, it's a crazy story. It's so crazy. So she's a singer also. Okay. He has a type.
So he has a type.
He has a type. He likes strong women who he can tear down. It really is
a really big appeal to some men.
He likes strong, confident, talented women who he can take down a peg or two, who are nurturing and kind and giving and vulnerable.
Yeah, because it gives them that power.
Yeah. He likes to feed off of their light and then blame them when their light seems to be dimmed. Even though he's been the one that's sucking the life out of them. But anyway, she is a singer as well. And they're from the same area, Illinois area. And she hosts a show at a gay and lesbian bar in Oklahoma City called the Girl Crush Show. And whenever I can't remember, I think I had a friend who's a mutual friend send me a post on Instagram because they were looking for more singer-songwriters to perform. And so I reached out, not knowing it was her. I knew who she was, but I didn't know she was the one hosting it. And so I responded, and she knew who I was. But she was super cool, and, like, we met up, and I went and performed, and, I think Ryan's name was mentioned once, but we didn't really talk about him, and, it was all good. And I should note that she is now married to a woman.
Okay.
So, which is awesome, but really fucks with my ex's psyche, and I love it.
Really? That's great.
Really fucked with his ego, because he used to talk about it all the time. I think it's hilarious now. But, and so, like, we met that one time, and she was super nice, and then, like, that was, like, in February, and then when I broke up with him in May, she was, that night that we had met, I, like, wanted to talk to her. Like, my question I wanted to ask her was, has he always been this self-absorbed? But I couldn't bring myself to ask her that night. But I did the night after we broke up. I reached out to her and was like, I don't know who else to talk to, but I know you know him, and I feel like I've been being emotionally abused, and I just kind of have some questions. Like, would you be willing to come talk to me? And she, like, immediately responded, immediately met up with me. Wow. We ended up talking for, like, 3 or 4 hours, and found out just all sorts of crazy shit that he had done to her, and it mirrored everything that he had done to me.
Wow.
Just he had moved away from her, cheated on her, been physically abusive of her, emotionally abusive of her, manipulative, just all, and he would do things. He did this to me too. He would compare sexual prowess with previous girlfriends or other girls.
Oh,
or use it as leverage to get something that he wanted. Like, it was just abusive.
Yes,
and manipulative. Oh, it sickens me. Like, now it just makes me sick to think about it, because I don't think he's capable of real feelings. It's all just a game, and everybody's just a pawn. And he puts on a good show. He really does. But when you try to call him out on things, and you call him out repeatedly, the cracks start to show, and the rage starts to show, and he can't keep it in, and he'll scream at you. He'll be ugly. You see the ugliness. The last bit I had was him screaming at me to shut the fuck up repeatedly.
Lovely.
As I was crying, and I was like, no more. Like, you don't get to talk to me this way. And you don't love someone and talk to them this way. Like, you obviously don't love me. And it's because I thought there was something wrong with me, but there wasn't. There was something wrong with him. He's just not capable of love. And I actually feel really sorry for the girl that he's with now. He kind of copy and pasted her into the life we had, because she lives here and he lives in another state. And I just hope that she sees it sooner than I did.
Right. That's all you can do, is just hope they figure it out without being there so long.
So I, like, immediately wanted to start dating afterwards, because I was like, fuck that guy. Like, he wasted so much of my life. So I've been serial dating. without really dealing with anything. So I kept like crying on first dates.
Oh no.
Like,
How many times did you do that?
3 times.
Oh wow. How did the guys respond?
And it wasn't always the first date. Sometimes I lasted to like the 3rd date.
Oh, wow.
But it's always some sort of like drinking too much / not eating.
Oh, and then those emotions boil over.
Yeah, and so then I would start crying and like they would do or say something that was just like remotely, faintly reminded me of my ex, you know, even though it had nothing to do with them, and it would trigger something in me, and I would just start crying. And one guy handled it really well, and he really liked me for it. But he was too timid and just wasn't for me. And one other guy made him run for the hills. And another guy, actually, we're friends now. So like good. I mean, it's all fine. You know, now I'm like, I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take a break.
See, I don't really date. Like, I might go on dates occasionally, not very often. Usually I just meet up with guys. But I do, when a relationship ends, I have a 3-day rule. And
Oh, I want to hear that.
Go ahead and email me with the slut shaming if you want. I don't care. So I have a 3-day rule because, you know, the best way to get over one guy is to get under another one. Yeah. 2 or 3. And so I have never gone more than past the 3rd day after the breakup without hooking up with someone else.
Usually, I love you. You're my hero.
Usually the first day is a little too soon for me. I'm still in my feelings, and I don't want to, like, you know, start thinking I have feelings for somebody else. So, you know, I usually make it past the first day. It's almost always 2nd day. There's usually, I mean, it's not that hard to find a man willing to hook up, right?
Right.
And I have friends that I have sex with, so a lot of times it's one of them. So, you know, but then if it gets to be the 3rd day and I still haven't found anybody, okay, that's when, like, the random Tinder guy is going to do it. And then I will block him immediately after, and he will never hear from me again.
Oh my God,
Sorry,
I love
guys,
you.
if anybody hears this that has been in that position, I know there's a few of you.
I love you. That's hilarious. You know, they probably don't mind. I mean, you go into it knowing what you're...
Neither one of us bothered to ask last names or anything, so I'm sure, I'm assuming they never expected to hear from me again either.
Yeah.
We knew what we were there for.
Yeah, if you know what you're, you know, if you're both on the same page, you're all adults, you know, so whatever. Yeah, I mean, I have, like, friends who...
I think everybody should have at least one friend.
I
have a couple.
I actually, like, really love him, and, you know, like, we'd make a great couple, but he can't get his shit together and be what I need. And he knows that. And, like, you know, but we still love each other. So, you know, whatever, it happens.
Yeah, it's never going to work together.
No.
But we're great friends. We can talk about anything. And, you know.
Yeah. But, I mean, I want a relationship. Like, I really want a partner.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. I'm, like, such a romantic. I really
do. I do or not. I don't think I do.
I do.
It might happen eventually, but I'm not looking for it.
It's, like, even hard for me to admit it, too.
Really?
Yeah, like, it's really hard for me to admit that. But I really do.
You feel vulnerable.
Yeah, no, but I think it's better to just own it. You know, like, I really want that. But it needs to be somebody who's emotionally supportive.
Right.
You know, because I have a lot of fucking feelings.
Big feelings.
I have a lot of really large feelings. And I need somebody who can handle that.
That can be hard to find.
I know, and I don't understand it, because I'm the fucking catch, man.
You are.
Like, I got a lot of shit going for me. And I don't need anyone, is the thing. Like, I am financially secure. Emotionally, I've got so many friends to lean on, you know, when I can't do it for myself.
Right.
You know, I don't necessarily need a man to be totally emotionally supportive, but I want to have sex, for one, like,
that's important.
Consistently, regularly, ideally with someone I love, because it's better when it's with someone you love. You know, I love that intensity, and, you know, I want that. And I
think that's why I like my friends.
Well, yeah.
Benefits, because I love them, like, more than I'll ever love any partner ever.
Maybe I just haven't found the right friend with benefits.
I don't know. I have a couple. You want to borrow one? We can reach a deal. I will pimp you guys out for a low, low price.
Oh my God. Maybe. We'll see how desperate I get in the next coming months. Yeah.
You know, that, like, part of me thinks I would like a relationship, but then the other part of me is like, do I really want to try monogamy again? Maybe if I found a guy who was okay with poly.
Maybe
I know
so.
they're out there. I mean, I've been poly before.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
But, like, it's so hard to find a man, especially close to my age, who can keep up with me sexually, so I'm going to need more than one.
Interesting.
Yeah, so most of my guys that I hook up with are, like, around 27, 28.
Mm-hmm.
Because guys my age, I mean, they're good and they know what they're doing, but they just can't do it often enough.
Right. Yeah, no, I've been through this. No, I completely understand. Completely understand. Yeah, and usually I'm like that as well, but lately my vagina's like...
Maybe not so much.
No, like my vagina knew before I did that I needed to stop dating. Like,
oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, it's like, no, we're just not...
No, I'm done.
Yeah, like it's been giving me all sorts of problems. And,
oh, no.
Yeah, and so I was like, I unwillingly had to stop hooking up with a bunch of guys, which was how I was not dealing with my emotional abuse issues from my last relationship. I was just, pretending that didn't happen, and my vagina was like, nope, we're gonna make it where you can't have sex for a while. Now you're gonna have to deal.
Your body will find a way to force you to deal with it.
Yeah. But I'm a Scorpio. I think I have to admit it to myself finally out loud, which I've never wanted to really own this, but I'm going to say it right now. I'm a jealous person.
Okay.
I could not be in a polyamorous relationship because I would
Really?
kill a bitch. Yeah. Like, no.
I'm good if I'm second. I don't know if I could be first. I don't know if I could be first.
I
feel like
maybe...
as first you have all the responsibility, and I don't want to share you if I'm the one taking care of your ass.
Yeah.
But if I'm just the side piece, fuck it, I can do that.
I've been the side piece. I can do that. I've been the side piece.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's easy.
It's fun,
it's
and
low
you get the fuck out of my house when we're done.
Yeah. I have done that.
Okay.
That I have done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if I'm number one, there is not going to be a number two.
Yeah.
I will murder you.
I don't think I can be primary. I don't think I can be primary and share them. Probably not.
No. So.
Or I don't know. Maybe I could as long as I have others too. Like whatever you can do. Like I'm not jealous and I can share as long as you understand that whatever you can do, I'm gonna do too. So if you're talking to other people, I can talk to other people. If you're fucking other people, trust me, I'm fucking other people. And I don't feel obligated to tell you the details.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe I could do that after being in a relationship for a long period of time. Okay. Like I think I could, if I developed the trust with a partner to where like we knew that we were in it together, but we had these other needs.
Okay.
That I think I could do. But I
have that foundation.
Yeah, but I've never gotten to the point where I had that foundation, a strong enough foundation with someone to feel comfortable exploring beyond the relationship and still maintain the relationship. So I think I could probably do that. But that's all hypothetical because I'm still looking for my one. I mean, I don't believe in just the one.
I don't either.
But I'm looking for a one.
A one.
Yeah, who can, fulfill me sexually, who is emotionally supportive and strong, and can also fucking stand up to me. Like, I can be really strong-willed and, like, have my mind set on something, and I need somebody who can be like, shut the fuck up and listen, there's another side. Right. Which was weird because the sociopath that I was with was actually pretty good at that, obviously. Right. And I liked that.
I was going to say, is that part of what you liked about him?
It was part of what I liked about him because I like to be dominated a little bit, especially sexually. So
maybe you don't need a boyfriend. Maybe you just need a dom.
Maybe so.
There's websites for that.
I know. I probably need to explore more. It just takes so much effort. I just need somebody to come find me. Now I'm putting myself out there. So
you'll hear the email at the end of the show.
Oh my God. Oh, my email is about to blow up, isn't it? But what was I saying? Now I'm embarrassed. I don't know what I was saying.
You were saying you're a sub.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I still like to be on top, but yeah, but in other ways, like I just have to make decisions all day, every day. Right. I'm a single mom. I'm a fucking attorney. I'm hustling all day, every day of my life. I want to be with somebody who admires that about me, wants to take the fucking weight off of me sometimes. Right. Like who sees that and doesn't want to add to it. they want to alleviate some of it.
Right.
You know? And I'll do the same for them, but like that's been the fucking struggle is I can't find a man who wants to do that, and I'm also attracted to.
Right. That's one of my hesitations about any sort of relationship is I want to demand your time. And that's what I tell people up front. Look, I don't have time for a full-time man.
Yeah, no.
Because if you're too busy, yes, I'm fucking too busy. I'm working 3 jobs here, you know, between my 9 to 5 and the law firm I work for and the art. Like, no, I don't have time to take care of you. Yeah. And you can't be like, oh, can you cancel or call into work?
No, I can't cancel. Yeah. No, I know. I want somebody who can integrate, who finds my life interesting enough to integrate into it, you know, or at least has their own shit going.
That's what I want. Somebody who's got their own shit and they're motivated, and that's the type of people I surround myself with, and that's
me too. And it'd be nice to find someone who like eventually would want to build a partnership, like a creative partnership. You know, like I'd love to, you know, find another guy who likes to write music and we write music together, and that's such a fucking cheesy cliche thing to say as a singer-songwriter, but it's true. Like, I would love that.
We're gonna see a music video.
We can go on tour together
making googly eyes.
Yes. Yes, I want all of that. I don't care. I'm an idealist and a romantic, and I'm jealous. I don't know.
Hey, we all are where we are, and that's okay.
I know what I want. Or I need like this really strong like businessman who like knows how to like, you know, make shit happen financially, and I have all these great ideas and like he can help make them happen, you know, like we can build a business together. Like
I think that's called a sugar daddy. No, I'm just kidding. Oh wait, that's what I want. Sorry.
If I wanted, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to that if I could just be attracted to whoever he is.
Like, that's the problem. The ones that have hit me up have all been like old white men, and I'm like, oh, I just can't. Like, I'm not that desperate yet.
Old white men really love me too. I think it's the Mexican thing. Do
you get called exotic? I hate that.
I get called exotic all the time.
It makes me want to stab people.
I don't mind it so much because I happen to have a thing for white men with beards.
So I mind it because it just feels like so fetishized when they call you exotic. I'm just like, well, so you watch too much Pocahontas porn? Is that what this is?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm okay with it a little bit just because I have a thing for white men with beards. And that's okay if you've got
that?
I don't
what is
know.
It about the beard?
I don't know. It's just really primal. Like maybe you're like a lumberjack and you could carry a strong axe and cut something down. That means you can like slam me against the headboard really hard or something, you know, like I just really like it.
The episode I showed you earlier with Carrie, listen to it. She says the same thing. She calls herself lumbersexual.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I am too, I think. Yeah, I'm really into that.
I didn't know this was so
Wear
common.
A flannel shirt, carry an axe, have a big beard. I'm yours.
Wow. If any Paul Bunyan's out there, you can email us.
It's a weird thing, I know.
It's funny.
And
it's cute.
This is so.
I'm not that into white guys.
This is way TMI. I don't care. This is probably the place for it. But I really love men with beards when they go down on me too. It's just
really.
Yeah, I'm really into that. Yeah, and I like that, and I like it whenever they like that. They like walk around like smelling like.
Oh, because it's all over.
Yeah,
okay,
like because it's just I like the primalness of it. You know, like they're mad. Yeah.
It makes sense.
I'm into it. So and seems to be that a lot of guys like that happen to like they have a thing for like dark-haired Mexican ladies with a big butt and big tits.
Right.
Which is me.
Right.
So
fair enough, that works. So you should get on the sugar daddy websites because there's a lot of them there.
I didn't know these websites existed. I know.
Yes.
I've been living a sheltered life.
There's an app I need to show you.
I'm living a sheltered life.
I got on there literally just a few days ago because this girl I work with got on there and we were talking about it. I'm like, oh hell, let's see what it's like, because she was telling me all this stuff. And there's a lot of scammers and weird people too, but there's like one young guy who's hit me up. We're texting. We'll see what happens. But there's a ton of older white men who are just like, but you know.
Well, I don't want like older per se. I'm like 40s.
Well, there's some of those in there, okay. So you might like it.
Okay.
So you might find you somebody.
Okay. I'll have to look into that. I'm curious now.
There's some there are some younger faces on there too that I blocked because they're in our profession and they're
Ooh.
nearby and I know them and I figured that would be a bad idea.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, it's always kind of weird when you run across someone that you know on something kind of. I mean, Tinder.
I had to
is
depend
one
on
thing,
Tinder
but
a lot too.
yeah, that was one thing. I just swipe left, you know. Although sometimes I would swipe right just out of curiosity. Then I would unblock them if they or unmatch them if they actually did match. I'm just curious.
I matched with one guy on there on Tinder who I knew already. He was an artist. And I matched with him just so I could send him a message teasing him for being on Tinder too.
Yeah.
He was already hooking up with one of my friends. I had no intention of hooking up with him, but I had to make a comment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there was one guy who I know who I actually hooked up with. We matched on Tinder like 3 times. Every time, because he'll like deactivate and he'll get back on. And so every time he'd get back on, he'd rematch with me. I'm like, dude, you have my phone number. Just text me. Quit matching with me on Tinder. This is getting crazy.
Yeah, I've had that too. I deactivated Tinder though recently. I
pulled my card a long time ago.
I don't think it's gonna work for me. Like I really like meeting people in person.
It worked for me for the randoms, and then once I was over that, I was like,
yeah, I think I'm over that phase.
I pulled it like 6 months ago or something.
Yeah, I'm over that phase of the breakup now. I had to whore it up a little bit, and now I'm past that, and so now I'm supposed to be. I think I'm taking me time. I think I'm just doing the things that I want to do for myself, and if I happen to, I mean, I feel like every time I go somewhere, I'm like, oh, that guy's kind of cute. I mean, there's like, there may or may not, I'm going to go play a show tonight, and there may or may not be a guy that I know that's going to be there that I met yesterday that I think is very cute. And so, you know, I'm curious. He's been messaging me on Facebook because he's a musician too.
Oh.
So,
how fun.
Just curious. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I need details.
He has a beard.
Of course he does. Of course he does. Not every guy I see with a beard, I'm going to think, I wonder if Felina wants his number.
Yeah. It's a huge, it's a big possibility.
That's
yeah.
funny.
I'll show you a few pictures.
We'll have a Felina dating show.
Yes. Oh my God. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, let's do that.
We should.
3 candidates.
Yes. And then you can question them. And
oh my God.
Where are we going to find these guys though? We'll have to do
there
this.
There is actually a dating app just for men with beards.
Really?
Yes. I can't remember what it's called, but I remember discovering it a couple of years ago. Whenever I was still when I was single before, and I don't think it was even active in Oklahoma at the time. There weren't enough people, but there are so many bearded men these days. Like surely in the last couple of years,
there are, and it's making my life hard because I don't really like beards.
I like it so much.
I'm like, can you just shave?
No, I like it.
But I know it's really popular, but I don't really like
it.
I can tolerate a small amount if it's okay, but I can't do hairy men.
I like it. I like all the hair.
Yeah, see some.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
I don't either because I'm so the opposite. I'm like, no.
Well, that's good. Then we won't date each other's men. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so that's kind of me in a nutshell. I'm an attorney, single mom. I like men with beards.
She's looking for a man with beards. So email, send us pictures.
The guitar, and I just hustle every day. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
That's awesome. Do a song. We should put a song on here on the episode.
Yeah, I'd love to play. A song called Backside.
Okay.
It was a song I was saying was born from my most recent breakup.
Yes.
I will tell you the words to the chorus. I'll just tell you the words to the chorus. Oh, I made you do it. Oh, how weak you must be. My mere little words made you beat the shit out of me.
Oh, I love that.
I'll get it right next time. I promise you'll see. As I'm walking out that door, you'll see the backside of me.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, fuck that motherfucker.
Absolutely. All right.
Well, it was midnight, and you were placing all the blame on me. Yeah. Oh, I made you do it. How weak you must be. The mommy little words made you be unfaithful to me. I'll get it right next time. I promise you'll see. As I'm walking out that door, you'll see the backside of me. One last fuck and one last kiss. I'm something that you think you won't miss. Oh, but now, where will you get your fun? These scars on my body don't compare to what you can't see. No looking back, now we're done. Must be the mommy little words made you beat the shit out of me. I'll get it right next time. I promise you'll see. As I'm walking out that door, you'll see the backside of me. Oh, I made you do it. How weak you must be. The mommy little words made you beat the shit out of me. I got it right this time. I told you, you'd see. I'm walking out that door. You watch the backside of me. Yeah.
Thank you.
You can contact the podcast at brokebrokenpodcast@gmail.com. The Broken Podcast can be found on Twitter @BrokeBrokenShow, on Instagram and Facebook @BrokeBrokenPodcast.